time were teammates in the late 50s, the Washington Redskins. Von Schaman ready to kick it off. The wind normally a factor here. The flag on this beautiful fall day hanging limply on the staff off to our left. Ready to go. The loser knows a defeat today will drop them 2 games out of first place. A good kick. Oh, Brown's going to take it out. He's got some running room. And he's dropped at the 30-yard line. Tackle made by Robert Sowell, a rookie defensive back. The lineups for the New York Jets with Richard Todd at quarterback, Durking and Crutchfield. We'll see Crutchfield on a limited basis today because of the hamstring injury. Wide receivers, Wesley Walker, 5 touchdown catches. The move man Gaffney. Tight end Barkham. If they go to 2 tight end offense, Mickey Schuler. The offensive line for the New York Jets, the big bookend tackles Ward and Powell. All-pro Joe Fields at center, Pellegrini and Alexander the guards. First down from the 30. Oh, deflected by Doug Vetters, number 75, the defensive end of the Dolphins. Vetters very nearly had a touchdown. And let's check that defensive line. Vetters, he has 8 sacks to lead Miami. Beaucamper, the other defensive end, with All-Pro Bob Baumhauer, the nose tackle. Linebackers, Brodzinski, tough against the run. Bowser, good blitzing. Due, he had 3 interceptions against the Jets in the playoffs. And the rookie Thomas, Rodell Thomas, for Ernest Roan. He's home with pneumonia. Judson and Small, the cornerbacks. The Blackwood boys from Texas are at safety. 2nd and 10. Jets ball, 30-yard line. Bruce Harper. Harper for 4 yards, bringing up 3rd down and 6.
And Dick, with Crutchfield hurt, they're going to have to use Harper a great deal more than they would like to. He is not a big back, and he has his best games when you can spot him in and out of the backfield using his great speed on the 3rd down situations. But again, with Crutchfield hurting and on the sideline, they're going to have to go more and more to Bruce Harper.
Crutchfield with 335 yards rushing and a 4.5 average. Powerful 230-pounder. But they'll have to go with the smaller backs today. 3rd and 6. Almost intercepted by Blackwood, or did he get it? No. The signal finally that number 47, Glenn Blackwood, unable to make that diving interception on the tip ball, and Chuck Ramsey comes in to punt for the Jets.
Richard Todd under a great deal of pressure on that throw, just barely able to get the ball away, tipped up by Gerald Small, and Glenn Blackwood dove for that football, almost got it. Now watch the kind of pressure coming from behind. Todd is going to drift to his left. Kim Beaucamper, 58, will hit him right here as he starts to throw. Knock that pass offline. That really caused the problem.
Ramsey's kick is a beautiful spiral. Mark Clayton at the 19. And he's down at the 24-yard line. Again, the Jets, that's been one of their strengths this young season. Coverage of the punt. Short return, 4 yards on a 48-yard Ramsey kick. For the Miami Dolphins, their offense on the field for the first time. Number 13, the rookie from Pittsburgh, Dan Marino, the new starting quarterback. He has with him the versatile Nathan and the powerful Franklin as running backs. Wide receiver Duper and the veteran Nat Moore, the all-time Miami receiver. Dan Johnson is the tight end. We'll check the offensive line after the first play. Inside the give to Andre Franklin for 2 or 3 yards. Running behind this offensive line, Giesler and Kuchenberg, the tackle and guard on the left side. Dwight Stevenson, Pro Bowl material at center. Powerful Ed Newman and Eric Loxo are the tackle on the right side. Defensively, Gastineau and Klecko on the left side. Lyons and Neal on the right side of the Jets defensive line. We'll check the linebackers and deep backs after this play. At 2nd down and 8. Franklin again, nothing there. Running right at Gastineau and Klecko. A yard at best. The secondary linebackers and deep backs for the Jets. Greg Buttle, Bob Crable starting in that middle linebacker position. A key move for the Jets today. Lance Mel leading tackler on the right side. Jackson and Holmes at the corners, and Schroy and Ray the safeties for New York.
3rd and 7.
3rd down and 7. shotgun Marino. Finds his man close to a first down. Boy, you can see the arm strength of Marino as he drills it to Nat Moore, the veteran wide receiver.
One of the reasons that Don Shula has been so excited about this young man is that he does have that quick rifle release. And of course, in making the decision to put Woodley on the sideline, get Marino in, he had given David Woodley a long time to prove himself during the season. Woodley had had a great preseason, but had stumbled through the early part of the season. Dan Marino caught the offense on fire last week, got them firing, got 35 points on the board. That's the good news. Bad news, the defense gave up 38.
Marino, a first-round pick by the 6th quarterback selected in the draft. And Don Shula won't say that it was a steal to find him still there, but he feels very good about the fact the availability of Marino, and they quickly grabbed him. It's a first down, as you saw, at the 34-yard line.
Dick, the Dolphins will try to probe right up the middle of that Jet defensive line, and if they can hammer up the middle, they can force the Jets to do some things they don't want to do. So far, they're not getting much.
Wide open is Nat Moore, and he's had a go to the 20, the 10, touchdown, Miami. 66 yards, Marino to Moore.
Quieting down in a hurry as the veteran Nat Moore able to find a little opening, and Marino just rifling that ball to him. Moore is just going to sneak in behind Bobby Jackson. Safety's coming over, but he just flat out runs Kenny Schroy right there, and it's Bobby Jackson coming from behind number 40 and gathering ground on him, but unable to catch him before he waltzed into the end zone.
So Uwe von Schamann will try the extra point. A 66-yard touchdown. It's the longest pass play of the season for Miami. And the Dolphins strike quickly. It took them less than 3 minutes to get the lead as Nat Moore finding a crease in the defense, and a perfect throw by Marino.
Marino's 7th touchdown of the year, and boy, he just zips that ball into the gap. A good job of picking the open man and getting the ball to him.
Schroy couldn't make the tackle. Jackson couldn't catch his man. A butt star for the Dolphins. 66-yard touchdown to Moore. Now the kickoff again to Brown, short at the 10. But good coverage, and down at the 17-yard line as Vince Heflin, number 88, made the tackle for Miami. He's a wide receiver.
In the game last week against Buffalo, Miami was hurt by kickoff returns. Had to put their defense on the field out toward midfield on several occasions. It's one of the things they've worked very hard during the week on.
Oh, what a day in New York, Merlin. I think that you even got itchy when you came out to Shea Stadium today.
I went down, got taped up. I got ready to go.
18-yard line. The Jets trailing 7-0. Inside it goes to Mike Augustiniak, number 35. From Purdue University. He and Scott Durking, two ex-Boilermakers, built so much alike. Short, squatty, strong.
Climb on the inside. Watch Joe Fields right in the middle of your screen. Fine all-pro center. He'll be doing the blocking here. Nose tackle Bob Baumhauer driving him off to the side. Getting a good piece of Bocamper in the process. Able to get a few yards up the middle.
Second down. A long 4. It's Augustiniak plowing for what appears to be a first down. Is a walk-on at Purdue, was not drafted as a pro. Mike Augustiniak.
Back in the middle of that offensive line, we're focusing on the battle again between Fields and Baumhauer in the middle of your screen. And boy, they are going tooth and nail in the middle of that line. A standoff, but you notice how Fields kept his feet moving on that play and eventually got the better of the battle.
Joe Fields from Widener College, a 14th round draft pick. Jets have their initial first down and the ball at the 30, check that, the 28-yard line. Wide open, Augustiniak. And he's across the 35-yard line, a gain of about 8. Well, San Diego has scored in the first quarter at New England. James Brooks on a 1-yard run. The Chargers lead the Patriots 7-0.
Now, Dick, we watched Joe Fields working on the blocking situation on the run. Let's watch him now in the middle of your screen working on Baumhauer on a passing situation. He gives away a lot of size and strength to Baumhauer, but takes good body position and able to help protect his quarterback well on that play.
2nd and 2. Going long. Lamb Jones sprinting down that right side, and he had beaten his man, William Judson. The pass just a little too long.
Now that's one of the things that Jets really kind of kicked themselves for not doing last week against the Cleveland Browns. They only got deep twice to Walker, really didn't open that Browns defense up. Todd aiming deep for Lamb Jones, trying to use his speed on that play, and even though he didn't complete it, forces Miami to respect the deep threat.
Lamb Jones would have to rate as a disappointment with the New York Jets. Lamb now in his 4th year with New York. He's caught some big passes, but he's not been as consistent as they had hoped. 3rd and short. There's the short yardage. Crutchfield. Bad leg and all. First down at the 45-yard line. Richard Todd now 2 for 5. Crutchfield's first catch, and he stays in the game.
After Joe Walton lost Freeman McNeil, he began to use Crutchfield a great deal more, and Crutchfield has proved to be a good receiver as well as a runner. Amazingly quick and agile for a big man. Huge, powerful legs. I'm really sorry that he's hurt today. I was anxious to see how he would do against this Miami defense.
He is the lone back behind Todd. First down at the Jets 45. Miami leading 7-0. 9 minutes left, first quarter. Crutchfield. Here, midfield before Rodell Thomas, 54, can lead a defensive charge for Miami. Thomas playing for Ernest Roan, who did not make the trip.
Dick, I'm sure there are fans at home saying, well, if he's hurt, why is he playing? Players still have to go when they're injured, and Crutchfield had strained that hamstring on Wednesday, as we'd indicated. I talked to him about it yesterday. He said, I'll still be able to play. He said, I've played with worse injuries, but it will limit my effectiveness.
2nd and 5. Crutchfield. Short of the first down as the Jets are in Miami territory near the 46-yard line. Rodell Thomas put a pretty good lick on Big Crutchfield. Thomas from Alabama State.
Crutchfield, top of your screen now, takes the ball, goes right at Beaucamper, number 58, gets inside, and that is a good hit by the young rookie right there. I'm sure he felt it as well as Crutchfield did. That's a lot of meat out there on the field.
Crutchfield goes out, so Augustiniak comes in. And that's Scott Durking diving for a first down across the 45 of Miami. A couple other scores. San Francisco takes the early lead at New Orleans 3-0 on a Ray Wersching field goal. And Benny Ricardo has hit a field goal for Minnesota. They lead Houston 3-0.
We're reminded that Rodell Thomas is not a rookie. He's been around for a while, has not had a great deal of playing time, and really until you've been tested out there on the field, you're still a rookie there.
Well, you remember he came in as a tight end, was a rookie tight end in '81, and then they transferred him to defense. Todd, he wants to go long. Wide open is Harper. And he's down to the Miami 28-yard line. Bruce Harper, 17 yards.
Bruce Harper for the first down.
That's the kind of explosiveness that we had anticipated from Bruce Harper. He does a great job of finding the opening in the defense. Look at him here. Look how open he is in this particular situation. Well-designed play.
And Merlin, to back up your point earlier on the long pass to Jones, you saw Jones running a streak, and that cleared out all that room for Harper, so that even though the pass to Jones didn't work earlier, it set up that play. He's down at the 19. Bob Brzezinski makes sure he doesn't go farther, but it's a 9-yard scramble for Todd.
Joe Walton extremely pleased with the way Todd had played last week, in spite of the fact that his team lost in a 10-7 encounter with the Cleveland Browns. Todd, I don't think, has been that happy with his performance this year. Has thrown more interceptions than he would like to throw, and Of course, last year was the interceptions that really killed him in that big championship game.
That game is less than 5 minutes old, and the Steelers already lead 10-0. Cleveland has never won. The Browns have never won at Three Rivers, and they fall behind 10-0 early today. Well, Todd has to call time. So Richard will go over and talk things over with head coach Joe Walton. The Miami Dolphins lead 7-0, 5:45 remaining first quarter.
And a special portal feature on.
As to more, the Jets have had the ball 10 plays, have marched it down to the 19-yard line of Miami, where it is 2nd and 2. Bruce Harper doesn't drop many of those. So outstanding on that particular pattern. The little guy from Kutztown State, Walt Michaels' son, Walt Michaels Jr. Well, Michaels was the head coach here of the Jets. His son was a teammate of Harper and recommended that the Jets take a look at him, and what a find. He proved to be a outstanding scout. Harper has paid many a dividend.
They certainly have never regretted that choice, and had he caught that football, would have had an easy first down. Now they need to pick up the first to keep this drive alive.
Third down. It's a short 2 or a long 1. The first down near the 15. Glenn Blackwood was there to make sure that he didn't skip down the sidelines. Jets trying to tie Miami here at Shade. Let's go to NFL 83. Leave the dressing room. 17-0 Pittsburgh, and they're not even halfway through the first quarter at Three Rivers. Crutchfield to the 10-yard line, and it takes 3 Dolphins to drag him down.
Dick, that's the kind of lateral movement that I mentioned from Crutchfield, a 230-pound back, and he gives you those little sliding moves that are common to much smaller backs. Watch him as he approaches the line. Look at the slide. A little dip right there now. He'll slide out. Look how he got himself and kept those shoulders square to the line. Well, that's a fine piece of running. Good running by Dwayne Crutchfield.
Here it is again. Have to meet that 235-pounder head on. 2nd and 5. Wesley Walker, and dangerously tipped back into a crowd of Dolphins, but incomplete.
Todd shaking his head, and one of the problems that the Jets have had offensively is that Wesley Walker has had an Achilles problem. He's been limited in practice time and literally has only been able to practice 1 day a week. When you can only throw to your #1 receiver 1 day a week, you are bound to have some problems in timing. I think it has hurt the Jets this year, and had he been able to practice more, I think Wesley probably would have more than 5 touchdowns on the season.
Some confusion in the defense for Miami. A.J. Due is injured. He's on the sidelines. Miami, I think they only have 10 men on the field. Bruce Harper down to the 2-yard line. That'll be 1st and goal for the Jets.
I believe they had enough people on the field. Shula was over asking Arnsparger what in the world is going on here. Chance for you to see it at home now. Good shot of Todd, just flipping a little pass outside. Looked like a play similar to the one we'd seen earlier. Alexander, number 60, gets a fine block, but look at Todd look at Harper twisting inside of 2 of those Miami Dolphin defenders to get the extra yardage.
But the confusion continues, Merlin, on the Miami defensive sidelines. The Dolphins had to call time, did not have the right people in there, partially because of all the injuries to the linebackers, and now another. A.J. Due has been shaken up and is not in the game at the moment. Timeout, 4:15 remaining, first quarter. For Miami on the sidelines, it's 1st and goal. The Jets' 16th play of this drive, looking for the tying score. They got it! Mike Augustiniak.
The Jets marched the ball down the field very effectively last week. Got inside the 20 4 times and only managed 1 score. Well, they started it right today. Straight down the field, and it's Augustiniak at the end of this short pass. The Jets electing to throw in what appeared to be a running situation. Augustiniak converts.
Pat Leahy adds the extra point. And just as these two teams are tied on the season, 3-3, and just as they are 17-1 in their rivalry, they're even in the first quarter today. Todd to Augustiniak. He had some key yardage early in that long 16-play drive, and he gets the capper to tie it at 7. 44-second drive after Marino had hit more quickly on the 66-yard touchdown tie game. Fulton Walker, number 41, comes up to get it. He was that Super Bowl star, setting a record for a kickoff return, and he's in the open at the 30, the 50, and out of bounds at the Jets' 47-yard line. Fulton Walker. Kirk Springs made the tackle.
Jets had been doing a good job of holding the kickoff returns down, but Walker showing a great speed here, able to get past a couple of the initial touches right there, one by Rusty Gobo, 94. Now watch him turn it on past Springs here, who was the contained man. Walker just hot-footing it down the sideline until he's driven out of bounds right there.
Walker had that 98-yard Super Bowl kickoff return against the Redskins for a touchdown in the first half.
Big help to start that ball out beyond the 50.
46-yard line. Miami and the Jets are tied at 7. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Tony Nathan greeted rudely by Mark Gastineau.
We'd had a chance to look at the fine center for the Jets. Now let's go and look at Dwight Stevenson right in the middle of your screen, 57. Blocking back right there, driving on Joe Klecko. Klecko able to get by Stevenson and get a good piece of that tackle. Some good defensive work by Joe Klecko.
Klecko underneath and Gastineau on top, a 1-yard gain. Woody Bennett trying to make his cut, and that is the re-sodded portion of Shea Stadium, part of the infield dirt, and the footing not quite as good.
Well, anytime you have to cut on that sodded portion of the field, you take a chance of losing your foot. You see it right there. Bennett with a big run of 25 yards last week, and the former Jet would like to do well against his ex-teammates. Unable to do it on that play.
3rd down and 7 at the 43. Intended for Duper, and well covered by the Jets' Jerry Holmes. Oh, the Jets showing some emotion.
That's something that's going to please their coach, Joe Walton. Duper slipping down on the outside. We talked about his speed. He's down quickly into the secondary, rounds the corner off a little bit, but look at that nice play by number 29, Johnny Lynn. Just darted over and knocked that ball away. Jerry Holmes also there to help on the play.
Reggie Roby, he's a story in itself. I don't think there's a more powerful leg in all of football than this man. He can kick it right out of the stadium. Two-step kicker from Iowa. Watch how high he gets it. And that'll be the Jets' ball at the 50-yard line. Darrell Ray blocks the kick. Number 28, Ray.
The book on Roby is that he takes a long time to kick the football. The Jets bargaining on having some time to get in there, went after his first kick. Now watch Roby. Watch.
Well, treating others nice. When you meet someone new, say how do you do. That always.
Time he had to adjust to the snap, but look how slow that is. And Darrell Ray just knifing in from the outside, able to slap that football away. Jets get a big break here early. That's his first block, lifetime. But boy, I'll tell you, that's a big play for the Jets special team.
So tied at 7, the Jets have it at the 50-yard line. Crutchfield. Well, they said that Dwayne Crutchfield wouldn't play much today, but Crutchfield proving them wrong apparently after warm-up and saying they felt some tightness. Once put in the game, he's feeling pretty loose. Other scores in the NFL on this brilliant Sunday in the East. Pittsburgh leading 17-0 in the first quarter. New Orleans has All right. San Francisco in front 6-0 in the second, and San Diego has a 7-0 lead at New England. On 2nd and 3, Crutchfield has a first down all the way to the 35-yard line. Brzezinski finally made the tackle after another 8-yard gain.
He's ripping it off, and of course that was one of the concerns that Bill Arnsparger had about his team today. They're playing of course, with a revamped linebacking core, and those are the people you count on to stop the running game. Good adjustment by Crutchfield as he's able to get outside. Twilley, the young linebacker that they've had to put in because of the injuries, unable to get him down.
Augustiniak throwing a key block to help Crutchfield. First down at the 35. Crutchfield powering for 6 more. They're running right where A.J. Dewey is not. Dewey injured, and they're really picking on that side of the Miami defense. And a Dolphin is injured on that last play. Boy, if that's a linebacker, Don Shula be ready to eat a helmet. And it looks like a linebacker number. Appears to be Emmett Tilley, number 52, and that is another linebacker. Oh, my.
Well, their problems at linebacking started at the beginning of the year with the tragic death of Larry Gordon, who'd been a starter and big play linebacker, and then they have gone down one after another.
So if that is a serious injury, they don't have enough linebackers in that 3-4 defense. He may have to go to a 4-man line. We have a timeout. A.J. Dewey had gone to the dressing room, has been taped. It's a groin injury. It appears he will come back to the Miami defense. 4-man defensive line for Miami. And Harper on the draw, stopped cold at the 27, 2 yards shy of a first down. Mike Charles, 71, in on the play, along with Charles Bowser.
Charles is the 4th lineman going in.
New England has kicked a field goal to cut San Diego's lead to 7-3 in the second quarter. Houston, as you just heard, Minnesota leading 10-7 in the first. Lions have a 7-0 lead on a Billy Sims touchdown in the first quarter. 6-3 Tampa Bay over St. Louis. They missed an extra point. Here it's 7-all, and that is the end of the first quarter, I believe. Time has run out.
Shot of A.J. Dewey warming up on the sideline. He went into the locker room briefly. I believe they taped up his groin. Looks like he'll be back in the ballgame.
The end of the first quarter in sunny Shea Stadium in New York. The Dolphins scored on a 66-yard pass, and the Jets came back to tie in a long. Kozlowski, number 40, he's a 198-pound safety man. He is the emergency linebacker. Jets have the ball 3rd and 2. Todd goes for it all. Intercepted by Judson, who made a beautiful move to take it away from Wesley Walker. William Judson, his 2nd interception of the year, and he made it look easy.
Todd had done a good job the last couple of seasons of limiting the number of bad throws, the number of interceptions as compared to his touchdowns. But that one hung for a long time, and Judson read the ball very well, cut across in front. Time for Todd to throw the football, but the ball never makes it to Wesley Walker in the end zone.
And we have a timeout, just starting this second quarter.
Especially in time of possession at 66 yards out of that 73 on one play for the Dolphins.
Time of possession, Jets owning the ball most of the time, but the score is tied at 7. And on the pass interception in the end zone, Marino from his 20 to the tight end Dan Johnson. Well covered. Bobby Jackson playing with that broken finger, making a solid hit after a 2-yard gain. Johnson, the tight end, is tied at 7 at Shea. Let's check 2nd and 8 for the Miami Dolphins. David Overstreet, number 1 pick out of Oklahoma, very near a first down at the 30. Overstreet, who played his first 2 years with Montreal in the Canadian Football League. Schroy made the tackle along with Greg Buttle.
Number 48, Kenny Schroy, man who made that big play on that little screen to the tight end, reading quickly from his safety position, slipping in behind the other defenders, does a good job one-on-one of grabbing David Overstreet's legs. Overstreet, with brilliant speed, has not given Miami the kind of big play punch that Don Shula had hoped for when they were able to get him back from Canada. You hear Bob Kuchenberg saying you want the penalty. He's loud enough to carry clear up here, Dick.
And Don Shula said, yes, we'll take the 5 yards, save the down. It'll be 2nd down and 2 at the 28-yard line.
Offside, defense, number 50, 2nd down.
Bob Crable, who had moved into the line, was offside. A.J. Dewey, and you can see now the accent after the E. He doesn't want to be A.J. Dewey, it's Dewey.
Now, right now, he'd rather be healthy. Word comes to us he may not play anymore today because of that groin pull.
Franklin straight ahead, very close to the 1st down at the 30. Buttle leading the defensive charge. Don Shula, will this be his last year in Miami? He has been contacted by the U.S. Football League, New Jersey Generals, a general offer, and Don Shula's words has been made. They're talking big dollars, obviously. Shula in turn and Joe Robbie, owner of the Miami Dolphins, are discussing his staying in Miami. Generally regarded as the one man, if you could go out and pick your coach, I don't think there are many who would argue that you'd like to have Shula. First down, Marino going long, almost intercepted by Darrell Ray. It was intended for Duper. 7-all the score here in New York. Let's go back to NFL 83. At Shea at 7 with 13 minutes left in the first half. 2nd and 10. Miami at its 30. Overstreet in overdrive. And a flag is down. Overstreet with a 16-yard run. Will it count?
It appeared there would be a holding penalty on the play, but some great blocking on Bob Crable that time. Middle linebacker. They're pinning him down to the inside. He simply was unable to get out. Give you a chance to look at it at home. Crable playing for the injured John Woodring. Woodring, here he is, right in the center of your picture. Now look at Stevenson, the center, out so quickly. Even though Crable is way off the line, Stevenson was able to get out in front of him and cut him off. Now that's great play by the center, but not good play by the linebacker.
Yeah, the play's going to count apparently. Or have the officials erred?
There is no foul. It was a running play, so therefore there can be no shot block. It's a first down.
So there was a chop block on a pass play. That's a penalty. On the running play, no penalty. And Don Shula, who traditionally has the least penalized team in the National Football League, and they've been the least penalized again this year, sees that 16-yard gain count. From the 46, Marino. No good. He's out of bounds. Duper at the 42 of New York.
Duper way off to the side on that play. That's something that's going to happen. Duper with his first start last week. Marino with his first start last week. Now they're going to have to throw a lot of footballs back and forth before they get very comfortable. There's the shot by Marino. And Duper just didn't feel that sideline. Took the ball in the air, landing clearly out of bounds, and then getting an argument from the sideline. Unjustified in that case.
Marino with an auspicious debut. 3 touchdowns, 322 yards last week against Buffalo. Guess who? The Jets' first sack, and it's Gastineau.
Gastineau doing his dance after jumping on top of Dan Marino. Marino taking a little too much time on this play, and he'll learn all about that. Gastineau, number 99, will come in on Eric Blackson, number 68, and just bury Marino.
And that gets the crowd fired. 3rd and 12. Complete, but short yardage. Jerry Holmes making the play on Joe Rose. And the Miami punting team comes on, and the Jets cheer the defense.
That's the kind of defense that the Jets have enjoyed over the past couple of seasons, but the early part of this year, they were very, very vulnerable. Now, Reggie Roby had the last one blocked. Let's see what they do here.
10 men on the line of scrimmage. Davlin Mullen is the only deep man. End over end. Mullen at the 13-yard line, and wisely he fair caught the ball, because with that end over end kick it would have bounced toward the goal line, and Miami had someone down there to make sure it didn't go in the end zone.
As we watch Roby's kicking action, short hang time. He's had them in the air as long as 5.5, 6 seconds in practice.
As it figured, 7-all the defenses. We started with that perspective. What's your thoughts now?
Well, certainly some problems for Bill Arnsparger with A.J. Dewey limping. He's really in trouble with those linebackers. Has gone to a 4-man line. He's going to have to make some real adjustments, and that puts some extra coins in Bill Walton's pocket or in Joe Walton's pocket on the other side. And let's see how he tries to take advantage of those weaknesses in Miami's defense.
And the fact that Crutchfield apparently isn't as seriously injured as the Jets had feared. So the Jets lost a scoring opportunity the last time when Todd was intercepted in the end zone. New York starts at its 12-yard line. Down the middle, Jerome Barkham, the tight end. And Barkham caught that one in a crowd at the 46-yard line. 29 yards on the play.
Richard Todd promised us that he would be going deep. He is certainly living up to that part of the bargain. Throws a very pretty strike right down the center, and Barkham, who's made some big plays against the Dolphins over the years, back to catch it.
Number 2 all-time, Jerome Barkham, to Don Maynard in Jets history. The Jets come out in the old power I formation. Then they shift. Harper and Durking behind Todd. Wesley Walker had beaten Gerald Small. The pass, Merlin seemed to hang a bit. Small with his speed, able to get back and knock it away. It appeared to be a sure touchdown.
Well, certainly would have been had it been thrown long enough. Gerald Small tends to camp on those 14 to 16-yard patterns, and they were hoping to get him deep. They said, we think we can get deep on Small. Well, they did, but Wesley Walker had to wait for the football, and Gerald able to come back and knock it away. Did a good job of catching up with Walker after the throw.
Well, that's twice Todd has been denied, once on the interception, and on this occasion the man open, he couldn't get it there. Draw play to Harper. And Harper, some clever running, picks up nearly 10 yards as he's at the Miami 44. You're the man to him, Bruce.
Harper just skittering. That's a good call by the Jets as they're taking advantage of Harper's quickness out of the backfield. Obviously, Miami expecting the pass play. We're hit by the quick one on the field. We've got an injury on the field again, but let's look as we're watching the replay of Harper. Pulls out of a tackle there, does a good job. Lyle Blackwood, 42, and Bocamper, and I believe Bocamper actually drove Harper for enough yardage for the first down.
The injury again is to number 52, Emmett Tilley, the linebacker, rookie free agent from Duke for the Miami Dolphins. So we have a timeout, tied at 7. And he goes long for Walker. It's going to be intercepted again. Judson to the 25 and out of bounds at the 29. So William Judson, there'll be a penalty on a late hit as Richard Todd had Walker open again, but could not get the ball deep enough, and Judson has his second interception of this quarter.
Todd just not getting enough velocity on that football. The ball thrown well shot of a very open receiver. Chance to see it. Walker just flat runs by Judson, but watch how short the pass is. Judson there to catch the football, and then the Jets add insult to injury here as they make a late hit out of bounds, and they'll tack on a...
As Duper to the left and flank to the right, the veteran Nat Moore. Spins and gives the handoff. Fullback Andra Franklin pulls his way for a couple of yards to about at the 47-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 8. Jets, Marty Lyons and Joe Klecko collaborating on the tackle.
And that's the area in which the Jets had been vulnerable early in the season. The running game, especially up the middle. Klecko and Lyons doing a good job of shutting things off. And of course, they'd like to get after Crable a little bit inside. He has not been as effective against the run as he is against the pass. So far, they're not being able to take advantage of the game up the middle.
All right, Marino on 2nd down and 8 has Bennett, the fullback, up on a wing. Only Nathan in the backfield with him. Marino rolling back to pass. In trouble, and down he goes at the 40-yard line. The Jets have their 2nd sack. Joe Klecko and Marty Lyons.
Again, Marino taking a great deal of time, but Lyons just lining up on him in the backfield and taking him to the ground. Jets with 16 sacks on the season now, but 7 of those sacks against Buffalo in one game. They're very pleased to get some pressure on the quarterback today.
We apologize. We're still working on our picture, so we'll continue with our radio call. 40-yard line, a loss in the play. 3rd down and 15. Out of the shotgun, Marino. Marino with a snap, back to throw. Looks, throws to this side. Overshoots Nat Moore at the 48-yard line. Coverage by Johnny Lynn of the Jets. And the Jets punting return team comes in, and Reggie Roby, the punter, in for Miami.
Dick, we just gotten word that Emmett Tilley, injured linebacker, is in the locker room. His shoulder will be put in a harness. They've now got 9 linebackers on the injured line. Oh, I don't know what they're going to do down there for linebackers.
They have only 3 healthy linebackers now for a team that uses 4. They're going to have to go to a whole new defensive set. The snap to Roby is low. He hits a wobbly boot to the near side. Lands out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Yes, at the 18 they mark it. So the Jets will take over at that spot when we return. Timeout, 8 minutes, 15 seconds. And the celebration is with a touchdown by Kim Beaucamper. Watch 58 Beaucamper, who will get the deflection of Richard Todd's pass.
The ball is deflected by Doug Better's big number 75, and shades of the Super Bowl last year when Beaucamper had his hands on one against Washington, and it was stripped out of his hands by the quarterback. They didn't get to him that time. He waltzed into the end zone. Fine play, and that's a tremendous play, Dick.
3rd interception of Todd. It's 13-7 Miami. Von Schamann to try the extra point. So Von Schamann's troubles continue. While you were away watching Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Von Schamann missed a 37-yard field goal. He's in a slump. He has not kicked a field goal in 4 games plus this one, and now has an extra point blocked by Ben Rudolph, number 76.
Here's that miss on the field goal, Dick, and Von Schamann just banged it off to the right. Missed 2 in the overtime last week, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, and you see his head go down. But like the golfers who make a bad shot, you just got to put it behind you. Apparently Von Schamann not able to do that. Comes right back and misses an extra point.
Well, Merlin, while we were having our technical difficulties, let's just review what did happen. There was no significant play until the Jets punting to Miami. Had Chuck Ramsey had his punt blocked by Eddie Hill, and Miami took over at the 28. Could not move the ball, so Von Schamann tried the 37-yard field goal, was wide to the right. Then the Jets took over at the 20 after the missed field goal, and you saw the key play as Betters made the play with a deflected pass right into the arms of Beaucamper. Beaucamper with a touchdown. Now the blocked extra point, and you're up to date at 13-7.
And perhaps the most significant development on the field, the injuries to the linebackers for Miami. Bill Arnsparger came in already with linebacking trouble. Dewey is out with a pulled groin. He's had Tilley on the sideline with an injury. Brown has been injured. They're really short. They've gone to a 4-man line. They're not able to play their normal defensive scheme. We're going to watch them try and adjust and try and hang on to this 6-point lead.
2 minutes and 56 seconds left in the half. Miami with a 13-7 lead. Kick is to Kirk Springs at the 5. Springs to the 30. And finally wrestled out of bounds at, they say, the 29-yard line. He stepped out. Steve Clark made the tackle for Miami. Let's go back. You don't see many plays like this one. Beaucamper, a gift touchdown.
And of course, half of the game is luck as well as skill. The skill right there as Betters gets pressure and goes up and bats it away. Beaucamper in the right place at the right time, and the payoff is there in the end zone.
In a way, it seems so unfair. Really, the credit should go all to Betters. He made the play, but all you'll read about is Beaucamper with a touchdown. But those things even out on a good team. You're just as happy that somebody in the right uniform got the score. Meanwhile, the Jets offense is sputtering primarily because Richard Todd has not had a good first half. There have been the opportunities, but Todd has been intercepted 3 times.
Almost reminiscent of last week's game against Cleveland, where they moved it so well, could not score.
2:25 left. That ball not near a green shirt as Todd was being pressured by Kim Beaucamper.
You can't blame Todd for one like that. There just wasn't time for him to get that football off. And look at the numbers for Todd. 8 completions, 20 attempts, 99 yards, 1 TD. But the biggest number on the board, 3 interceptions.
And 2 of those interceptions, he had a man open in the end zone, couldn't hit him. The other became a touchdown for Miami. That's a 21-point difference. 2:23 left in the half. 3rd down and 8. And he's in trouble again. Complete to Barkham, but that pass won't count. There's going to be holding on the Jets. One of the Dolphin defenders was coming in on Todd, and a Jet player just tackled him.
Chris Ward trying to talk to the officials there. There were 2 flags thrown by the officials, and obviously someone detected putting their clamps on, and they begin to walk off there. Of course, the Dolphins will take the penalty, not wishing to see that completion stand.
Yeah, the liberal rules that provide the offensive lineman with more technique than ever before, but you can't tackle a man.
Offense, number 72, 3rd down.
Chris Ward stopped his man, that's for certain. That was one of the better tackles of the game. 13-7. Miami leads.
Jets trying to take advantage, as we said, of a wounded defense, but so far Miami adjusting well.
3rd down and 19. Oh, dangerously close to another interception as Walker had no less than 5 Miami defenders around him. As you said, Merlin, they're going to take Walker out of the Jets offense if they can.
Joe Walton talked to Todd and has talked to him repeatedly about putting the bad plays behind him. He said one of the things that Todd has had difficulty doing is coming back from an interception, coming back from a bad game, and he really thought he was getting him to the point where he could do that. Todd's going to have to do that in this game if the Jets are going to get back into it.
Chuck Ramsey, only the 2nd time in his career with the Jets, he had a punt block the last time, and 10 men on the line of scrimmage for Miami. Mark Clayton is deep, and that block punt will shake a man. It's a very short kick. Oh, as Clayton hit at the 46, a dangerous return try by the rookie Clayton, and he was hammered by Kirk Springs.
21 down quickly, and that's a dangerous play, but I think they felt that they were on the sideline with it. Watch Clayton come up. The ball bounces. He takes it cleanly, and the smack right there. I don't know whether he was going. Well, he did hang on to that football. That's good concentration, but bad judgment.
The Dolphins, because of their defense and Todd unable to, in the hurry-up offense, move the football, Miami now is presented with a nice package. They have over 2 minutes left in the half. Good field position at their own 46. That was a 34-yard punt. Leading 13-7. Dan Marino at the controls, the young quarterback. Screen, Woody Bennett, 45, and down at the 48-yard line, Ken Troy and Bob Crable on the tackle, and the 2-minute warning is given at 1 minute 54 seconds. 1:54 left in the half. Miami near midfield trying to add to its 13-7 lead. First is a public service by the National Football League. 1 minute 54 seconds left in this first half. It's been a confusing half and a puzzling season for Joe Walton and his New York Jets, one of the preseason favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. Both these clubs 3-3. A most important game to win and one you can't really afford to lose. 13-7 Dolphins. Marino on the roll. And out of bounds at at the Jets' 49-yard line. Gain of a couple for Marino. He is much bigger than I had thought, Merlin.
He is a big horse, and he's a fine athlete as well.
Other scores. Pittsburgh, as you saw with that last touchdown, leading Cleveland 27-10. Bringing you up to date, New Orleans has a 7-point lead against San Francisco. That's a most important game in the NFC West. San Diego builds its lead at New England at 21-10. These are all second quarter scores. Minnesota has a 27 lead against Houston. Detroit 14-3 at home against Chicago. St. Louis 13, Tampa Bay 6 in the second quarter. No score yet, Buffalo and Baltimore. 3rd and 5. Gastineau. That'll be an incomplete pass, not a fumble. Joe Klecko, oh, his eyes had to be big when he saw that ball downfield. Marino hit by Gastineau just as he delivered the pass. Incomplete. And now the Jets will have time. 1:44 left in the half.
And one of the lessons that Dan Marino will have to learn is that there's only so much time back there. He's got to find the receiver, get the ball off. Taking a little too much. Gastineau throwing Laxo away. And a wise move by Marino. Followed through with that hand. Even though it hit his own man there on the line, they call it an incomplete pass.
Hit Ed Newman right in the helmet. Newman must have been wondering what's happening here. Here's Roby. He's had a punt block. Just flattens the ball. He hits it so hard. And the rookie Davlin Mullen from Western Kentucky, as the Dolphins ran by him, Mullen returns it out across the 20 to the 21. Just a 32-yard punt by Roby. He's not happy.
And you hear a lot of unhappy fans here in Shea Stadium as they welcome the Jets offensive team onto the field. Jets would welcome a little offense here, wouldn't they, Dick?
Indeed they would. Todd has not had a good half. Now, we have a good schedule for you next week. A doubleheader: Cleveland, Cincinnati, New England, Buffalo, Kansas City, Houston. These are the early games. 12:30 for NFL 83. Also Miami and Baltimore at 1:30. And we'll show you those West Coast games in a moment. Todd, incomplete to Scott Durkin.
For Scott Durkin.
We have two outstanding late games next week. Merlin and I will be up in Seattle for the Steelers and the Seahawks, and the high-powered Chargers against the defensive-minded Denver Broncos at Mile High Stadium. That's a doubleheader here on NBC next week.
Todd still having trouble. That short pass to Durkin, the kind that they have practiced so often, just misconnects. Durkin took the ball a little bit behind him, bounced it in the air. Todd's timing is not on today, Dick.
1 minute, 27 seconds left in the half. Doug Betters, that is his second sack of the game, his 10th of the year, and for the moment, Doug Betters, the 6-year veteran from Nevada Reno, is leading the NFL in sacks with 10.
Todd hurries up on the play. He's got it snapped again.
On 3rd and long, he goes short to Durkin, 25-30. He'll be short of the first down by a yard. Bob Brzezinski made the tackle, and timeout is called with 1 minute and 3 seconds left in the half.
Miami wants the timeout. They may want a chance to block another of Ramsey's kicks.
Reminder, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. 4th down and 1. They've not changed the yard marker yet.
Now it's still, there it goes. Now they're sending the kicking team onto the field. I wonder why the offense was staying out there.
So with 1:03 left, Miami will get another chance, and Walton is scuffing the dirt. He's unhappy.
He certainly is unhappy, and rightfully so. He publicly came out, was a little hard on his team. In fact, the hardest criticism we've seen so far. And one of the questions you have to ask about a man who is basically as pleasant and as well disciplined as a Joe Walton, is he mean enough to get a team that is not playing well and grab them by the shoulder and shake them and get them back into the game? He has to prove that.
Clayton is inside the 30. Ramsey had a punt blocked and also a short punt. Hits this one beautifully. Clayton at his 20. 30. 33, and Rusty Gilbo coming downfield threw quite a hit on Clayton. 50-yard punt, 13-yard return. One of the questions I'd like you to answer, Merlin, they say that the two toughest cities to play in pro football are New York and Los Angeles. You played in one. The big city environment, all the publicity, all the attention that the athlete gets, and that the teams like the Green Bays, the smaller town teams where there are less distractions, actually that's a better football town for a coach. A coach has more control of his players. I'd like you to deal with that after this play. 33-yard line. Time remaining 52 seconds for Marino out of the shotgun. Complete to Nathan, and Tony Nathan is all the way to midfield.
That's the kind of big plays that we mentioned that Tony Nathan was capable of, and Marino come right back with no huddle, without a huddle, to see if he can get more yardage.
34 seconds, 33. Incomplete. And Marino is kissed pretty hard as he delivers that ball. Clock stops at 29 seconds.
Dick, in answer to your question, no question in my mind that it's very difficult for a coach and for players in a big city where there are so many pressures on them. Media pressures, so many other kinds of things happening, to take their time and take their interest. This town in particular, at practice they may have as many as 40 reporters, and they want to talk to everybody, and they really can't put the squeeze on you in a hurry. In a town like Green Bay, a coach often will control the press to a great degree, and he'll have the newspaper men by the ear, and he'll say, don't print this story, I don't want it in. You can't do that in a city like New York City. And there's no question that there's a great deal more pressure on the coaches, on a Joe Walton, just in a matter of time. How much time does he have to spend with reporters and with the media? A real drain on his energy and time as well.
Marino. Jets were offside on the last play. And Duper, is it a catch? Yes, at the 32-yard line with 24 seconds remaining. Mark Duper with the reception.
Duper, the deep man we mentioned last week, over 200 yards, 2 TDs. Marino really has a gun. Look how quick he gets this ball to the receiver. Good pass. Duper able to get his feet down inbounds. We saw him drop them out of bounds on a play similar to that earlier.
Super duper. He's got great speed. He anchored the NCAA Sprint Relay Championship team. Joe Delaney, the late running back with the Kansas City Chiefs, was on that 4x100 Sprint Relay team. Open, but overpowered was David Overstreet. That one burned his hands.
Overstreet not happy about that one, and he has not really had many chances to produce for Miami. Of course, went to Canada, played there after being a first draft pick for the Dolphins. Von Schamann hoping that he gets a chance to break that very bad streak he's in. He's a fine young man. Very frustrating for a kicker. You talk about being naked. They go out there all alone. I'm glad I didn't have that responsibility.
Second down play with 16 seconds left in the half. Overstreet with flags down. Overstreet is inside the 25 of the Jets, and we'll check the penalty flag as the clock stops with 12 seconds showing.
Kenny Neal, number 77, had jumped off sides, and I think they'll take the play. Well, they may not, because it would be a third down coming up. Let's see what Don Shula likes to do here.
Eddie Murray has kicked a field goal for the Lions. They lead the Bears now 17-3, and Pittsburgh has scored again. Stout to Sweeney, and the Steelers lead the Browns 34-10.
Dick, in the middle of that line for the Dolphins, when they go into a shotgun, they bring in a new center, Mark Dennard, and Dennard snaps exclusively on the shotgun formation, but they don't take their other center, Dwight Stevenson, out of the game. They move him over to guard, take Kuchenberg out. Stevenson a little better pass protector than the old veteran Kuchenberg.
One of the great Enbergs.
One of the great Enbergs. And one of the great players, too. Shula exhorting his troops. He would like to get some more points on that board.
Offside defense, number 77, decline. Third down.
Okay, takes the gain, gives up the down. Interesting call. Interesting call. Could have had
figures with only 12 seconds left that the downs aren't going to matter anyway. He's only really got one more down, plus either a field goal try or go for it all. Inside the 25. Out of the shotgun, Marino trying to add to the 13-7 Miami lead. Down the middle, Rose, touchdown! Joe Rose. And that was a 30-yard bullet. That ball was 5 feet off the ground, right to number 80, right to the 2 numerals.
Shades of some of the strong-arm quarterbacks we've seen come into the league. All of Terry Bradshaw, Roman Gabriel, and Marino throws a hot strike down the middle. Second touchdown of the ball game. Marino without an interception in this game has had a fine ball game.
Kick. Stop the hold.
So Marino with his second touchdown pass, he hit the veteran Nat Moore 66 yards. That one was good for 24. Von Schamann had his last extra point try blocked. And hits that one cleanly. But for the Miami Dolphins, just 7 seconds before halftime, they have opened the lead to 20-7.
Marino with 8 touchdowns now on the season and only 3 interceptions. That's a fine ratio for the young man, and you expect these rookies to make mistakes. Not a mistake here. Boy, he zipped that past the linebacker right into the hands of Joe Rose.
That's a good point, Merlin. If you were to say, okay, you've got a good rookie, but that's what he is, a first-year man starting, and here are the numbers, 3 and 8. Which one do you think is interception? Which one touchdown? Normally, it's 3 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, because they're going to peak 48-yard line. Clock stops with 4 seconds, so a chance for one play for Joe Walton. And of course, we'll have all the scores and highlights of early action today on NFL 83. So stay with us. We have 4 seconds to go. That is not the end of the first half. We still have 4 seconds left. And the Jets with a final play.
Joe Walton, I'm sure, extremely frustrated at the performance of his troops, and he said it. He said, I just don't understand. Some weeks we practice well, we play poorly. Other weeks, practice poorly and play well. I don't understand this team.
Here's that triple right where they'll send everyone deep down one side and hope for a deflection. Todd stepping up and gunning it deep. And it's another interception, I believe, for the same man, William Judson. Yes. The hat trick for Judson. 3 interceptions in this first half, and with that, the first half comes to a close, and the Jets hear boos as they leave the field. The score.
For the Jets defense, they've got to come out smoking, shut down the offense. Offensive statistics, look at the time of possession. For the Jets, again, just a dominant there. Total yardage, they control it there.